Welcome to Focus on Teens. I'm Dr. Barbara Milton, your host. Today's episode, we'll be listening to August Richardson. August will be graduating in a couple of weeks from Dwight Morrow High School in Englewood, New Jersey. I've known August Richardson for a very long time, and I share in the complete pride and joy about his accomplishment in completing high school and heading off to college at the end of the summer. I caught up with August on his porch. A very loud porch, I might add, with lots of noise in a very busy street in Englewood. But nonetheless, I was able to get him on camera so he could talk to us about his high school experience, about his passion and love, which is music, and about his heartfelt gratitude for both his mothers, Lottie, Domangue, and Tracy Wells, and all that they've done to position him for success. He has a word of wisdom or two for other teenagers. Take a listen.
Hey, my name is August Richardson. I'm 18 years old, living in England for about 7 years now. When I first got here, I actually went to the Englewood and Palisades charter school, and then I went to Genesee Distance Middle School for 3 years, and now I'm at Dwight Morrow High School. I'm actually a senior now, graduating next month. Englewood has definitely been a different experience for me because I grew up in Union County for the majority of my life, so I was used to being a minority in the school. It was just myself and 3 other students that actually all grew up on the same street. We all just happened to be in the same grade up until middle school. Well, up until 5th grade when I moved to England, actually. So I was used to being the only child of color that was really on the playground. No one really knew what to do with me. I was just different from everybody else. So while I was able to integrate with the kids well because no one really understood the differences between races, I still knew that I was different. I still knew that they knew that I was different, and there's always some form of tension between us. Here, however, there's different kinds of tension, but that's mostly high school and hormone related, but I still do enjoy being in Englewood. I love being here. I love my friends and family that I've met here. Many people that I consider friends, I now consider to be family, now that I've actually been comfortable with being here. I enjoyed my experiences for the past 7 years. Picked up on a lot of different things, new art styles, new forms of music. I actually picked up playing both bass guitar and drums. After moving here about 5 years ago, I picked both instruments up, and I was beginning to excel in both. I actually started getting interested in music at about age 13, 7th grade. That was when I really developed my own taste in music. I got used to listening to what my sister and parents were listening to, that I got so tired of it that I just never really tried to develop my own taste. But eventually I got into a few bands, the Gorillaz, Fall Out Boy, that I really enjoyed. I started listening to them more. I really started getting into it. I figured if I can get rhythm, I can probably play some of their songs, and thought beyond that. And not, why just stop at their songs, play other people's songs? Why stop there? Play my own songs, write my own songs, be my own artist, make music that I would want to listen to. So I figured I'd start with an instrument that I thought was easy, which really turned out not to be, was actually drums. I thought it would just be simple, just sticks, hit the tubs, just whatever, just play whatever. And unfortunately, I was very wrong about that. I was not that good at all when I first started playing. However, one of my friends who's been a drummer for his church for a while had offered, he's like, you get your own set and I'll teach you. And by very much luck, I actually did get my own set. My mom got me a set. And he would teach me in my attic. We'd play for hours and hours, taking up the entire weekend until I'd gotten very good. I was able to keep up with him. I was able to keep up and go beyond the songs that I once wanted to play, and then I started getting harder and harder songs. I listened to different genres besides just alternative and rock. I started listening more to hip-hop and metal and jazz, and I got really into it. The style that really stuck with me the most has actually been punk, because it's just like, it's almost raw emotion into music. 2 years later, I got into playing bass guitar, which I actually found this really stuck with me too. I found that I really just like rhythmic instruments the most, with being the bass and guitar, because they really seem to hold down all the music. They always have a very lower, dark sound to them, so I've always really liked them. Actually, my dad plays bass guitar, so I feel like that's really the biggest influence that's come to me for playing it. I've always wanted to be a bass like him. The stag I was talking about earlier, the black stag, my dad, I gave this to my dad Gary. Again, I kind of idolize him. I'm very grateful for the guitar he gave me. The black stag, I actually personally named the guitar Gravity, because it's actually a lot heavier than most other basses are. Most usually weigh between 5 and 7 pounds. This one actually weighs 18 pounds. It's made of solid cherry and oak wood, actually. It's actually a custom-made bass. This actually is not its original design, so we put a lot of actual time into constructing this, having it reconstructed just for me. Actually, one thing he'd actually tell me a lot was that he would never get me just a regular practice bass, because they're probably about up to here on a regular bass, and they sound terrible, so I'm actually very grateful that he gave me a professional bass as my very first one. So, it's really my prized possession. I don't think I'll ever let this bass go for anything. Music is definitely the most important thing in the world to me. It actually keeps me not in balance, but actually harmonized. It allows me to have more focus. It allows me to actually keep myself going wherever I am. I always make sure that I have music into myself, get into this zen, a phase that's beyond who I am as a person. It allows me to really connect with myself and to connect with others. What can really be said? What can really be said about high school? It's just, it's not easy for anybody. Nobody can simply just coast through high school. It's definitely a place that you can have plenty of fun, make plenty of connections with other people. You definitely do learn a lot about, well, actual learning and education. You learn a lot about yourself too. I've developed as a person a lot in high school. And just seeing myself and my friends develop in many different ways. Many people develop academically, other people will develop socially. I personally developed in both ways, but more so socially than anything else, because up until high school, I was used to only being around African American and Latino students. I wasn't used to different Asian or Indian or European students being around me, or at least not since I was very young in elementary school. So I was very pleasantly surprised to see many different races and see a huge cultural diversity in high school. As many people get that chance living in urban areas the same way I do. So I was extremely grateful to see that there were a mix of different students. I've also learned many different things about several different cultures, and actually learning different things about their music as well and trying to integrate it with my own. So I've been very grateful and pleased. Like, personally, I've never really liked school. I've never really enjoyed it, but in high school, it felt a lot more worth it. There was more than just work to be done. It was more than just learning about history and math. It was more so learning about who I am as a person, who I want to be, what kind of career I want to pursue, what college I want to go to, and what college will actually help me pursue those goals. So I've been, while I'm not a huge fan of school, I am still very grateful for being able to go and have the chance to go. I'm very grateful to have the fellow students that I've met throughout school that have also been probably going through the same issues that I've been going through. It's very great. I'm very pleased to have them. As a student, I've actually noticed that I have almost terrible study habits, to be honest. I've always been more of a project and test person, so like I pay attention in class, get all the notes and everything, and then do almost no homework at all. It's a terrible strategy to take. I just never could get myself to feel like I needed to do the work. But when it came to projects and tests, I'd always just knock them right out. I've always been a really big, hands-on kind of person. I've always enjoyed working with things that I can really touch and move and break and then rebuild and then see if I can craft them in my own image, add my own twist to it, really make it mine, personalize it. And then as for tests, I can just repeat information. It's just, I get to tell someone else exactly how I understand the information is. So it's almost as if tests and projects allowed me to tell my teacher exactly how I feel and think about the work they were giving me, about the information that they showed me, and show my actual understanding. It personalizes exactly what their work has given to me, because like with homework, it's pretty much the guided amount of answers. This is supposed to be here, that's supposed to be there. Everybody's supposed to have the same answers on the exact same thing. There's no opinion in it. With a project, it's, okay, well, I understand this, I learned this, so I can teach you this. There are things on the project that you learned that your teacher did not know. And if you hadn't done that project, if you hadn't picked that specific subject, if you hadn't written that essay, chances are your teacher would have never known it. They probably would have never asked about it, and never would have been interested in it. But the project is your time to teach your teacher. Give them more to know. And the best feeling about it is, when you do really well on the project, your teacher can show others. So then they learn from it. And if they feel good enough about it, they'll hold on to it and then continue to show others. And it's just the best feeling ever. You get to teach someone else about something that before you even did that, you knew nothing about. It's probably one of my favorite feelings ever, just knowing that I did well on the project. I get to learn and then immediately show everybody else what I learned. And not only am I teaching them, but I'm teaching them in my way. I'm using my style, my flair, my specific thoughts to teach them. It's always been a very good feeling. I've actually, when I first started learning that from was the Chico Wally project program that I was in. Actually, before I started getting into music, I was very into it. Like, actually, at first, it was kind of the same love-hate relationship I had with school. I didn't enjoy being there, but I did enjoy the people that I was working with. It was myself and 5 other young men. I've gotten very close with all 5 of them. Actually, one I'm closer with than the rest. He's become a bit of a rival towards with me. And that's actually been one of the things that's helped me stay motivated both academically and artistically. I'd say that my biggest issue with high school on its own is that there's a huge lack of social activity. I mean, yeah, kids do try to talk and text in class or whatever. There's lunchtime, but that doesn't really help anyone. That doesn't get all the talking out. I'd say one thing to do is actually make so that classes are more open, like actual in-class discussions. I found that in most cases, I've actually learned better from other students than actual teachers. So rather than having a class just be lecture and notes or PowerPoint and packets, just have a teacher bring in a concept or a lesson, do a brief explanation of it, and then actually, when asked questions, have students ask each other, because there's going to be at least one student that actually understands what you're talking about, and for every one student that does understand, there's probably 4 or 5 that doesn't understand. So actually have them converse with each other. And I can ask my teacher the same question 4, 5, 6 times and never have an answer, and my friend will just lean over like, yo, check this out, just do this, this, and this, and that, yada, yada, yada. And I can be like, oh, why did the teacher just say that? And we'll just be like, yeah, the teacher did say that. Sometimes it's just easier to connect with people your own age than it is with those older than you. And chances are kids will probably make it more entertaining, more enjoyable. There would be days where I'd have my friend help me with homework, and while I feel like I've learned nothing, I'll just get the answers on the test weeks later like it was nothing. So it really helps with actual social activity, and chances are kids probably won't be paying attention because they're so ready to talk to each other, and it gives them a reason to. It gives kids a reason to actually talk and open up to each other. It makes it a lot easier on everybody. And there are some teachers that feel like they don't want to have to keep repeating themselves. Well, then you're not repeating yourself. You're allowing the students to help each other out. And a lot of teachers actually do have the rule, ask a fellow student before you come ask me. Well, that next up, they can ask all the students that they want, and that would be, I guess, I'm not sure how it would affect copying, but it would still at least help students further understand what a teacher may not be able to teach. I'm going out to college. I'm going to be up in Boston for 4 years. So, 3 things I know I necessarily need to do, like without a doubt. I need to establish a schedule for myself. I need to know when and where I need to be, just about at all times. Well, definitely at all times. Just to keep myself on track. That way, once I get used to that schedule, once it gets good in my mind, I can schedule when I don't need to be scheduled. Just so I can know where I need to have time for myself. I need to have time for work, time for others in case there's any emergency, holidays, break. I used to definitely have scheduling done. As for number 2, I'd say I'd have to definitely make several friends and connections. Having friends always makes things easier, especially when there are people going through the same things as yourself, as I said earlier. It just makes that getting through is just much simpler. You're a bit more comfortable. Everything doesn't seem like the weight of the world all on your shoulders. You understand that there are other people that have the same issues you do. As for number 3, I'd say get comfortable. That's definitely a must. It's a lot easier to take life in and accept new responsibilities when you're comfortable with what you have already. That way it doesn't seem like I'm rushing in and juggling a million things at once, and then I'd have no idea where to go from there. That way I know when I can stop, when I actually do need to stop, and to know that when I can or need to stop, I have somewhere to stop, somewhere to actually rest and collect my thoughts before I have to move on to the next task. So it makes everything a lot easier. It's the last piece in the puzzle, puts everything together and keeps it secure so that I can actually be ready to move on.
August, I'm gonna miss you. You know the day you leave for college, I'm gonna be boo-hooing and carrying on. Those are good tears, though. Those, I promise you, will be good tears. I am so proud of you. You have turned out to be such a wonderful young man. As I always say, you're such a good boy, but you're not a boy anymore. You're a man. And I know you're gonna do great at whatever you choose to do. I mean, you surprised me. I didn't expect you to go into musical engineering, but like I've always told you, love what you do and you never work a day in your life. And you are just your confidence, your self-confidence, and the way that you are with people. Like I tease you and say you could be the mayor. The way that you look people in the eye when you talk to them. That shows that you that you're trustworthy. And you can't say that about a lot of young men. I am so proud of you. And knock 'em dead, bro.
Yes, ma'am.
Do your thing. I could give you a hug. Can I give him a hug? And you still give mommy hugs and kisses in front of people, and I love it.
Hi, I'm Tracy Wells. August, part of his parental unit, his stepmom, mom, Lottie's partner, and thinking about August, where he is now to where I first knew him. Young man, 8 years old, I think 8, 9 years old. I'd always seen a creative part of him, and that has just really grown and blossomed. August is very creative, imaginative, he's bright, intelligent, and he's thoughtful. And his mom and I have pretty much stayed on his case in hopes that he would continue to be that and even more. Not much else I can say that would trump what I just said, except that he's a great kid. I've seen that through his friends. I've seen that with the friends that he chooses to bring by and establish relationships with, and I also see that having opportunities to talk with his teachers, some from middle school that we still have relationships with. So I know he is becoming the kind of person that he wants to be, and that he's going to be very successful in everything that he undertakes. And we just hope that he works hard and puts everything into it, because nothing is always guaranteed if you just kind of settle for the minimum. You know, we always strive for him to push forward and do the best, and we're sure that that's what he's going to be able to do. To see the finished product, which is continuing, but we're loving it. So you keep doing your thing. Very proud of you, and thanks for letting me be a part of it.
As for T, I'd like to say thank you for teaching me the difference between strong and indestructible. I really do need to know that. I need to realize that even if I am the best at what I do, there's always someone that's, if not just as good, then better. Someone waiting to knock me off that throne, off my high horse, off my pedestal. I need to understand not to get a big head, not to have a big ego, just allow myself to be humble and understand that while I may have plenty of accomplishments under my belt, I'm still human. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really just want to say how much I actually appreciate you for everything. I know I tend to give you a hard time when it comes to actual work and moving and getting up to go to school and everything, but I really do appreciate everything you've given me. You've taught me diligence, which I really need. Sticking to everything that I start. You know, don't open a new candy bar until you finish the first one. It's really helped me, kept me focused on the straight and narrow moving forward, and I really appreciate it, even if I don't always say it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. One of the hardest things about being a teen on its own is social confusion. It's we're treated as followers, but then always told to be leaders. There's media saying, you know, wear this, buy that, listen to this, watch this, and all that. Just always being told, you know, what to do, rather than how to do something, like, rather than how to actually be able to move forward. It's more so always been, rather than how to lead others, they're just teaching you how to follow them. While in schools, they have a lot of speakers saying, you know, be the next leader, you know, be this person, be someone that you want to know, just always do the right thing. It's really confusing. And that's almost as if we're being said, you know, wear our clothes, watch our TV, listen to our music, and then repeat after us. I'm my own person. It confuses everyone. It's more so with teenagers, because we're a lot easier to mold and manipulate. We really are just larger children, to be honest. We're not really any closer to adulthood until we realize we have to think on our own. And for a lot of people, it really is too late to actually be able to think on their own. My best advice to avoid that is really understand who you are to begin with. What I did was, throughout middle school, I just looked up a bunch of bands I had heard of that I never thought I'd really like. And I really had gotten into them. That allowed me to earn my musical independence. I found that, I like what these people have to offer. Check out a few other bands, and before I knew it, I wasn't even listening to what other kids were listening to anymore. They were listening to all the same played out songs after a while, and I was listening to songs that were from the 70s and 80s, and then a lot of independent bands that no one's ever really heard of that are still looking to get cut for deals and all that. I realized I don't mind being different. And a lot of other people enjoyed listening to as well. They weren't really up for following me, and I have nothing against that. But I told a few people, just get your own taste. You like what you like, and I like what I like. If we happen to cross paths again, so be it. But I'm not going to follow you, and you don't have to follow me. You can be friends or whatever, just be your own person. I'd say that for anyone who actually has issues with finding who they are as a person, it's you. As long as you're on this earth, you have time to find who you are as a person. You may not have the same skills and abilities and talents as everyone else around you, but it's not your job to be like them. If that's what you like, then apply yourself to it. Really crack down. Try your best with it. That's all I can ever say about anything. Just always try your best. If it's not working out for you, ask someone for help. Someone who's great at it. Ask them for help. Someone else who's trying to learn how to do it. Ask them for help. Work with them. But if it's just not for you, then don't feel bad about it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And if it is, just understand. If it's something that you really love and you really want to do, and if you're not that great at it, don't worry about it. Being bad at something is the first step of being really good at something. It's really, everything that you put into is everything you're going to get out. If you work your absolute hardest, then you will get exactly what you put into it out. You'll be great at it. You'll be amazing. I couldn't draw that well, and I just kept working at it and cracking down on it. And I'm not the best, but I'm still at a level that I'm comfortable at. I really like what I can do. I like what I can imagine and put to paper. I've never been that great with the music and rhythm, and now I'm pretty much building a career out of it. Just keep pushing forward. If you love it, then whatever your art is, whatever your talent is, will show you just as much love as you show it.
What an amazing young man. Certainly poised for success as he enters the New England Institute of Art in the fall. And it's no mistake that he's confident, that he's more self-assured, more self-aware, more wise than he was just 4 short years ago when he entered high school. There's a reason for it, and it's a simple reason. It's called love. And you heard a lot of that when we had the chance to catch up with his very busy mothers. I'd like to connect August Richardson's story to Maya Angelou, whom we recently lost, our iconic Shiro, humanitarian artist. She said, if someone loves us, not simply indulges us, but loves us enough to be on our side, then it is easier to grow resilience. I think that that's a very proper quote for the August Richardson story. It's love that's gotten him through all the transitions. Love from those that are nested in his family, those who love him in rippling concentric circles of friends and family members that surround him and wish his continued growth and success. And that's true for August Richardson, and it's true for every teenager. We need to surround them with love, unconditional love, and give them the structure to succeed. This is Dr. Barbara Milton, licensed clinical social worker, signing off for this evening. I thank you so much for checking out and tuning in to Focus on Teens.